My name is Fred Cook, and I drive school bus.
My name is Leanne Murchie, and I'm a school bus driver for TCAPS. It's been a very wonderful experience.
When I first hired in, one of the previous bus drivers told me that this particular job, driving school bus, is the best job on earth. So I immediately took to it, and I have to agree that this is one of the best jobs that anyone can do.
What prompted me in the very beginning, I have a college degree, and she said, "You're in the safest vehicle in the world on the road." So I thought, well, I'm gonna try. Because I would be on the same time schedule as my own children. And when they were off, I was off. When holidays, I was there. So it was the best of both worlds. TCAPS offers jobs elsewhere within the system.
Between routes, I used to, for 12, 13 years, I did lunch duty over at East Middle School, and now I paint.
They're real good about finding people the hours that they need during the course of the day to make the job great. We have Mesa Insurance. The whole district has it. It's awesome. It's the best health insurance. We offer a 401k. There's a sign-on bonus. It's a win-win situation.
The most important thing, I think, coming to work at TCAPS is you understand that you are part of a team. It's a part of a collective. It's not just bus drivers and then versus teachers. It's not that. We all are in this thing called education together.
If a person likes kids, generally likes kids, this is a perfect job.
So I'm talking to kids all day, and that experience is really heartwarming, and I continue to understand what it means to be a part of the community.
You are an educator. You have a chance to touch children's lives every day. And don't think that you don't. You are such an important part of the wheel of education.
We would like to welcome the audience and thank you for attending. Viewers may watch Board of Education meetings and board committee meetings live on TV 190 or online at tcaps.net/board. Recorded meetings may be viewed on demand at the same address. Stacy, do we have any public comment? All right, moving on. So we're at the draft committee meeting minutes. Are there any changes to the November 30th draft meeting minutes?
No.
Having none, they will stand as posted. Now moving on to professional development, League of Innovative Schools 2024 convening. Dr. Van Wagner.
Okay, so as you know, we are a member of the League of Innovative Schools, have had a lot of positive work in this and a lot of good things for our district, and so the annual convening they have for us, it'll be myself and at least one other At this point, I know Heidi's planning as well. We are hoping to have 3 of us total at the spring meeting. And so we are, again, always learn a lot of resources. You remember we had the chance to work with Digital Promise that came in, and you'll have the chance to see that here in February, kind of the results of all that work. And so we are seeking approval to be able to, for myself, per board policy, I, as the superintendent, have to get an approval, but I approve anybody, else from that standpoint. So, so at that point, I'm looking for approval for that.
There was something just recently that Traverse City was able to take advantage of only because we were a member of the league.
And that was the Digital Promise came in and did the survey and the focus groups.
Right.
Work that we had. So
At no charge.
At no charge.
Yeah.
So that's a real plus. We've had the chance to get on a couple other grant programs. We're actually presenting with what we had come in with. They were so happy and impressed with what happened with our focus groups and surveys of our kids and all the information that we've had. That they're asking us to present with them on how that had gone. So,
Nice.
So yeah, lots of, there's only about 120 schools in the districts in the entire United States that have been invited into that. So this will be our 2nd year as a member. We're the only one of 2 in Michigan. So again, excited to be able to continue to be a part of that group.
Great. All right, thank you. Now we're going to review the agenda for our January 8th Board of Education organizational meeting. Dr. Van Wagner.
You bet. So again, this is our standard organizational meeting. One possible addition on this that's not here right now is we do have a reinstatement to be reviewed just prior to this meeting. So depending the outcome of that, a review could possibly have the addition of a closed session that could be added onto this. But again, we will not know that. Not putting the cart before the horse until that meeting's convened and a decision of the committee is made. But beyond that, we have standard call to order pledge. I will be the acting chair to start the meeting, and then I will ask to appoint a temporary secretary, which will be Megan. And then we have our approval, election of officers. Once we have a president at that point, I'll hand the reins over at that point to the president. We will have the establishment of board committees. And again, all of you have been through this, so I know you know the process, so not too worried with that. Our first public comment, superintendent's report of legislative items, district highlights, tenure contracts, and then Board of Education recognition. And then I do plan on also just bringing up just a conversation to ensure where we're at as far as the pre-bond planning and just confirming with the board where we're at with that for the plans for the February board meeting, just so I can finalize that. We'll have our board committee report outs, our consent agenda. We do have, again, the League of Innovative Schools meeting that I just mentioned, as well as some field trips for multiple groups within our district. We will have our normal organizational meeting items of depositories, funds, and again, accounts, day and time for board meetings, resolution for property tax collection, legal counsel, and recording secretary and individual post notice of meetings. Many of those were reviewed in finance, so they were passed on for the agenda. Our bids, we do have 2 that went through finance yesterday, classroom audio visual, which is a pilot that's really exciting, and then some Glenn Loomis items as well that are mainly wires and tech kind of things to outfit that building just for future use for both administration and hopefully the use by students again in the future. And then we will have meeting minutes, discussion of school safety update, our standard Board of Education standards of practice, which is like on the wall over there. And then we do have a discussion, we've been working through bids. Yesterday we did talk to the Finance Committee about the Central and West High School Innovation and Manufacturing Labs. Good news is that we're able to do those. The tough news is that it is at about $12.1 million of a $10 million budget. So we did remove, we had plans for a boiler to go in at Glen Loomis to prepare for administration and the hopeful, ability for central grade temporarily. We've decided to hold off on that. We're just gonna keep working it. We just felt like we have a commitment to the STEM labs to be done right, that we had promised the community in the bond that was done in 2018. And so we reviewed that with the finance committee, but everybody agreed we wanted a full discussion as a discussion item on the board agenda for that item. So we were very transparent on what we're doing there.
Yeah, I think that's good, just because the amount is high.
Yep,
and,
it is.
And it's over budget.
Yep.
So.
And again, it's just costs, costs of many of the trades have just gone up, and we're doing what we can there. We have our second public comment, board president closing remarks and adjournment.
And then that possibility of the closed session will be after the second.
That is correct. So we will, Megan, when do we have that?
We have it today.
Okay, the reinstatement's today, okay. So once we know the outcome, we'll update the agenda per se if that is needed, and then we'll get that out to the board members here for Friday in the packet as well as the public.
All right, excellent. Thank you. Moving on, informational items, human resources. Connie Taylor.
Thank you. As Dr. Van Wagner mentioned, the first thing we have on there, we have I believe it's 2 individuals who have met the requirements for mid-year tenure acquisition, so we'll be bringing those to the board for approval. And then retirements and resignations, very unlike last year where we were saying we weren't seeing any. We have anticipated a bubble of individuals who have been eligible for some time, and we're starting to see that manifest itself. So we have offered, just for planning purposes, incentives for early notification to the district so that we know who's going to leave, so we can start looking, posting, planning accordingly with our administrators in the buildings. So at this juncture, we have received 27 notifications of retirement for the conclusion of the school year, 14 of which are teachers. And they're pretty equally distributed across elementary and secondary. Obviously, we always worry about critical shortage areas, special education, science. So we are being pretty proactive in trying to identify individuals, whether it be student teachers or otherwise, who are currently in our district that are doing an outstanding job that we can tap on the shoulder and have prepared to step into any vacancies that may manifest themselves at the end of the school year. Because as you can understand, we have the planned ones, and then we also always have the ones that we were not anticipating. Our early retirement notification incentive, we have one more cutoff date of February 1st. Individuals notifying us by that date would be eligible for an additional $1,500 incentive bonus for notifying, and then the normal contractual notification date for the typical contractual benefits is March 1st. So we'll have a pretty good idea, I think, going into the spring break period, just about the number of folks that are planning to leave at the end of this year. A little unusual this year, we've had a few mid-year resignations in our teacher ranks. All of them family circumstances, movements, those sorts of things, but fortunately, again, we've had a number of outstanding student teachers, long-term subs that we were able to identify to move into those positions. So at this point, we're staffed at the teacher level. So that's it for our retirements but looking at vacancies, we always like to let you know where we're still looking for folks. We're feeling pretty good about our food service, custodial maintenance, instructional, but we are looking for some aides. So instructional aides, primarily at the special education level, and our early childhood special education, as well as our Great Start to Readiness program, which is our preschool program. And then for folks who are looking for something very part-time, maybe that they just want to get out of the house for a little bit, lunchroom aides to come in at noon duty and help with lunch and recess for our students. So we have several vacancies out there for those. One area that we are a little bit concerned about, so tapping the public on the shoulder if they're available, is we have 2 Great Start to Readiness program teachers who wonderful for their family, but they're anticipating maternity leaves, and they're running concurrently. So we have yet to identify individuals to long-term sub in those positions. So anyone interested in long-term subbing in a preschool classroom, please reach out. We'd love to hear from you. Again, bus drivers, we always like to just put that out there. We do have, I believe it's 3 or 4 individuals who are completing the training requirements, which is outstanding, but we can still use more. So I just like to remind folks that we do paid training for bus drivers, and also that at the end of that, they would have a CDL, which is something that the district pays for. So anyone interested in doing any bus driving work, we'd love to hear from them as well. And so that's it for my staffing update. Moving on to the board policy update. As you know, we've been moving through the Troon transition. We started with the 4000 series, which is the Human Resources Personnel series, which were presented to the board last month to start to review. Late last month, we had an opportunity with President and Vice President sitting down with us to look at the 1000 series, which is basically our policy overview, mission statement, and definitions, as well as the 2000 series, which is the board policies. And so we've made those elections. We're finalizing those, and we'll get those two sections to the board for their initial review within the next week or two. And then we will be moving on to the biggest of our sections, which is section 5000, students, curriculum, and academic matters, formalizing a group using our assistant superintendent for curriculum instruction, as well as building administrators and anyone who touches our student side of the house to review those policies, make their elections and recommendations to the board, and we'll bring those to you next. So I anticipate those will probably, that is the longest section. It is the core of the business of what we do, so it will probably take the longest for the board to review and ask questions. So we'll get those to you guys as soon as possible.
We can't do those electronically. Those ones, the 5000s, I can imagine.
Yeah, we can always, so what we can do is we can make the elections, we can scan them into a PDF so you guys can have them electronically, or we can print packets, whatever is most convenient. So we'll reach out to you at that time, let me know what your preference would be. And then lastly, I just wanted to bring to you, we started as part of the human resources goal of recruitment and retention. And this is largely around retention, is what are some of the things that we can do to retain our outstanding staff? And one of those small areas is that do we do enough work recognizing the great work that goes on in our district, the people who are really driving forward the strategic plan goals on a day-to-day basis. And so we've called upon our union leaders to serve as our judges, if you will, and we put out nominations for Compass Awards, and this is for their colleagues to nominate individuals who they think embody all that is TCAPS and our strategic planning goals. And we were so excited about our response to the first nomination series. We had over 50 people nominated across all of our union groups, and so those nominations are currently in the hands of our union leaders. They're reviewing and will make their recommendations. We're gonna select a winner from each one of our employee groups that will be presented at the board meeting in February. And also we want to, at the end of the year, we'll roll over all of the nominations. We'll do this every other month, but at the end of the year, we will share the nomination forms with all of those individuals who have been nominated so that they can see the kind words that their colleagues have to say about them, even if they aren't the individuals who are selected for the awards. So really, really happy about that moving forward.
And you said every other month we'll be recognizing a new
Yes.
Compass Award winner. Okay,
What a
got
great
it.
idea.
Yeah, so we'll have one in the teacher group, the aide group, the custodial maintenance group, transportation group, our non-affiliated, and our administrative groups. So we'll have several winners across the organization.
Good, good. That's cool. Yeah.
Great. All right, nice report. 27 retirements already.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah,
I'm
that bubble is
curious,
coming.
when you do the early incentives, the two different time frames for the early incentives for people, that just helps you prepare, is that right? Just
Yeah,
really helps
absolutely.
you prepare and know where you're gonna have holes, and then,
Yes.
Okay.
So for those individuals who know they're leaving, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes they just don't think to. They're like, oh, the normal thing would be to notify folks at the end of the year.
Yeah.
And as you can imagine, our recruitment time really begins right around spring break. You've got the folks who are completing their student preparation programs, individuals who are planning to complete a year, maybe move and relocate to the area, or folks that are saying, you know what, I'm completing this year in this district, but I'd like a change.
Yeah.
And so for us to not know until, say, June or July, by that time, we've missed the largest recruitment window that we have. So for folks who know that they're planning to go, this just gives them a little bit of an extra bonus to let us know in advance so we can start planning. So we do mission-based budgeting, looking at staffing needs, but we're actually bumping that up early this year. So we're gonna be meeting with the principals at the end of January, early part of February, to start looking at overall staffing needs for the district.
and 27, that's a lot. I mean, I know you said a while ago that you saw the bubble kind of coming.
Yeah.
27, I think we had what, it's 12 last year?
11 or-
Total last year, I
Yeah.
think
Jump at
this
the end.
time last year, we may have had two.
Two teachers,
Okay.
yeah.
Yes.
And how many
Okay.
teachers did you say at this point?
14.
Right.
14.
And-
We
and-
should be, but we should be at like much higher than that in a normal.
In terms of eligibility of folks who are eligible, if you look at having the requisite years of service and could go, we have a huge bubble in this district, which is again why, you know, this all happened way before me, but a lot of forethought and planning went into it on the part of the organization to avoid layoffs. So even when staffing numbers didn't necessitate an additional teacher, keeping those individuals on with the district as coaches, interventionists to work with our kids, one, it is twofold. It gives additional supports to the kids that we truly need. We were able to use some ESSER funds and those dollars to maintain those individuals. But then at some point, if we get down the road and we have a huge teacher, you know, vacancy problem, that's an area that we can always pull those folks back into the classroom because they're remaining with the district. Because once you do a layoff and folks relocate and move, the opportunity to get them back is almost slim to none, just given where we are and the relocation requirements to come here.
And that's going to be interesting in the mix of teachers across the state because there are a lot of districts that are, as you know, our ESSER federal funds are ending this year. And so we know, unfortunately, there are districts that have lived off that money. And so there are going to be some districts that lay people off, even in the midst of a shortage. So we feel like we're in a really good spot from that aspect that, you know, we didn't use that money to prop up what we already have, you know, that we're in a pretty good, you know, spot that way. So it's just going to be really interesting what happens now this coming fall with all that. And we feel that we're prepared pretty well for that, regardless kind of how it all falls. And special ed and science, like I said, we've got some real attention to give to, you know, try and do. But overall, staffing wise, we're pretty good. But yeah, I mean, and to give you a sense of while we have that now, we still ended up last year in the end filling how many teacher jobs? Do you remember?
In August, which we always hate to do, we were so trying to get ahead of it by offering student teachers. I think we had 4 that we were still doing in August.
Yeah, I'm just trying to remember how many overall teachers we ended up hiring
Oh.
last year.
Geez,
17, 18?
close to 20.
Yeah, close to 20.
Close to 20.
And we only had 2 at this time, you know, gone. So with people that are moving, a spouse maybe gets a job, we have a few Coast Guard families. So let's say that we were to get that same amount now, add the 18 onto 20, now we're looking, you know, at 38 teachers. And that could be the possibility. So Connie and her team's gonna have her work cut out for us here, but at least knowing what we can know early, you know, to get on the road and job fairs and all that element is really important.
What's the teacher count now, roughly?
4 something. We're closing in on 500.
500. So,
470 something, I believe.
But if other districts are laying others.
It's gonna be interesting, you know, I mean, you got some downstate like Wayne Westland, I think a couple weeks ago, Pink slipped 50 teachers. So, you know, it's,
Right now?
yeah,
Wow.
they got a little budget issue down there right now. But,
Sounds like
how
it.
is it?
but, you know, like I said, it's just, you know, with the federal money and I just don't know the way this is gonna go, so it's gonna be interesting.
And it's a unique challenge for me now being here in TCAPS, you know, having come from the Grand Rapids area. If you were to see one of our large urban districts lay off a significant number of staff, there are a lot of districts that can pull those teachers in. For us, in order to recruit those teachers, it does involve a relocation of a, you know, individual and potentially a family. So it's a little bit more challenging than trying to recruit from neighboring districts.
But put it in perspective, even if every teacher who joined us worked for 30 years, it would be 15 retirements a year. So we're still below that.
Right.
But
Right.
as we
Well,
say,
we've-
11 and it's high compared
We've
to
we've
last
got a
year.
little hole in the bubble. We haven't
Yeah.
popped the bubble.
No, yeah.
You know, and on your way out, if you look at the beginning of the year, we had people sign on our first day of how long they've been in the district. Look at the one that has the most years, and you'll get an idea of. Because I think what is it, 25 plus? That the one
I think it was
chart?
20 plus. It
20,
might have been
20 plus.
20
You can see it's a little more and a whole lot, you know, on that sheet. So
Well, it's a point of pride to get to the first page of the longevity
Yeah.
packet, you know. But then again, we've got to get that housing issue
Yep.
solved too, because we
Yep.
got to,
yep,
we're going to be bringing in teachers, got to have some place.
lots of challenges, but we're going for
We're in
it.
a good place, it sounds like, so, and being
Knock on
proactive.
wood.
That's right.
At this juncture, we're feeling pretty good. Good, good, good.
All right, very good. Thank you. Moving on, communications update, Ginger Smith.
Thank you. So the first thing I'd like to touch on is our annual enrollment timeline, and that is always a big push beginning in February. And this year we do kind of head things off right away. February 6th, we start with our tuition toddler and tuition preschool enrollment process beginning. And all of our kindergarten and junior kindergarten events will host information meetings between February 12 and February 14. They will all take place in the buildings, and then there will be an additional February 14 event online specifically focused on the junior kindergarten program. So that is an option for people to be able to attend both one in person and then to attend an online session if they want to also evaluate the junior kindergarten program as a possibility. Enrollment will open for our junior kindergarten and kindergarten families on February 15. Moving forward, we do have our middle school information meetings set up for those entering 6th grade for families. Our East Middle School parent meetings will be held February 6 and February 13, and those are kind of divided by which elementary building they are a part of, just to keep the numbers somewhat reasonable. And for West Middle School, their dates are February 19 and 26. We do not have the dates yet for the high school. They kind of do work with the middle school to determine what dates would work best based on their timeline. So we will find that information out relatively soon here. So it's exciting to see that we are back to the push for enrollment. It's always a busy time for our office, and we are right on top of it in terms of working with all the elementary buildings to get their slides in place and get them the information that they need to have successful meetings. The other thing I would like to touch on is our TCAPS Health Center. They are having a soft opening beginning this week. They are now able to see patients. The staff is there and able to meet with students. They are sending out a text message to their already subscribed families this week to let them know that they can be seen in the clinic. We have been having behavioral health services provided through their location here in town, but now we will be able to see them right here in our new facility. If you have not yet seen the building, we will have an open house and a ribbon cutting for the entire community on Monday, January 29, beginning at 3:30. So we hope that everybody can attend that. There is also going to be an opportunity for families to hear through their building newsletters for additional information this week and next week in case they have not yet signed up, to give them a reminder that that can be done and that the building is open. So if you'd like to stop in there, you're welcome to do so at your convenience. Just let them know that you're part of the Board of Education and that you would just like to have a look around, and they'd be willing to take you on a quick little tour. So we're excited to open those doors and start this new chapter for opportunities for student health.
It's really nice. It's that building fits so well for
It
the
did.
mission
It
and
did.
just the
It really
door
did.
to the parking lot, and then with the kids coming in from the buildings, it's really, really nice. So I was there, I don't know, right before the holidays.
Okay.
Right, they were just about ready, but not quite, and so it just is so nice. The room, the exam rooms, and the waiting room, and it's just really, really nice.
And while that facility is at West Middle School, we do have a partnership with Beta. Is that correct? That can bring students from other campuses?
Yes,
Or
so,
appointments?
yes, and we're also looking at doing a lot of telehealth appointments just to ensure that we do not have to pull kids from their building if possible, especially for those that we haven't been able to seek parent permission for yet. That way we do have that alternative to be able to do it telehealth version.
All right, anything else? Okay. Thank you, Jennifer, for that. Ginger, for that update. About ready to adjourn, but just a correction to the agenda here is that our next executive committee meeting is actually Thursday, February 1st, 2024 at 9 a.m. in this room. Good? All right. Thanks, everyone. Happy New Year, and have a great day.
Thank you.
And I know a couple